everybody, it is Jen here. I hope you're well. It's day 3. In fact, I wonder if it will let me change my, no, it won't let me change it, but I meant to have put day 3. It's day 3, hump day of the challenge, which is the Expert Unrivaled, Unlock Your USP. And this challenge has been amazing for everybody who's taken part. I can really see that you've truly been thinking about all of the elements so far in this challenge and how you've been able to implement those into your business and actually see how it's all starting to come together, hopefully. So if anybody's got any questions about anything in the challenge so far, do just pop them in. I'm just going to see if it'll let me invite people. I don't think it will. That's really annoying. That's fair enough. It's cool. So I've notified, hey, Nikki. By the way, I sent you a message. £2, not 1. Nikki is coaching me at the minute. She's an incredible health coach, and I literally I need to box you actually, because the leg training, oh my goodness, it's the first time I've completed the whole 3 circuits. I was broken. So I'm going to box you in a bit and get you updated on how I'm managing. But I'm really pleased because even though the weight loss is, I've only just started, but the weight loss is a little bit slow, I can physically see the difference, because I think there's look at those guns, look, see, and I'm sure you can see the difference as well just in my face. But yes, so so it's all good, it's all going in the right direction. I'm really happy, honestly, Nikki. I am so happy. I was scared to jump on the scales because I was like, oh, it's not gonna move, but it did, and it's moved by 2, so I'm really pleased with that. Because I know that's kind of what we're aiming for anyway, plus the fact that I've been working harder than I've ever worked on exercise, possibly my entire life. You know, there's going to be a bit of muscle growth there in every area, because oh my god, Nikki makes you work out every part of your body. I've got muscles aching that I didn't even know I had, but it's all good. I'm really enjoying it. I'm really motivated to do this, and everybody's saying like, I can't believe how committed you are. But this is what happens. This is when you get a coach. This is how committed you are to the outcome. On my own, there was no way I'll be like, I'll do it tomorrow. But I know she's watching me, so I'm having to check in and update my progress and all that kind of stuff. And now she's making me check out on my meals and things. I'm scared. I'm being good, I promise. So I will do. But yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've got to, yeah. And also, yeah, I know, exactly, Nikki. I should be proud of myself because I have got a lot going on in the personal life department. You know, and I won't go into all of that because no one wants to hear about me. In all that jazz, but yeah, there's a lot going on behind the scenes with my family, and I love them all dearly. It's nothing that's anybody's fault, it's just happening. So yeah, so considering all things, I'm doing well, sticking to it under the circumstances as well. So yeah, no, I am proud of myself, and you're an amazing support, so thank you so much. Nikki says she's always watching, even on my live. She comes to check out. I should do my measurements and see. Anyway, enough about my exercise regimes, because again, no one wants to hear about me. I'm here to talk about the challenge, but I just thought I'd do a bit of gap filling whilst I'm waiting for people to join. Bernadine, hello. Alessia, hello. Alessia, I need to call you. Nothing urgent. I just know you sent me a message and I've not got back to you. But yes, I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna be good. I love Nikki says my guns are awesome. I know they look wussy, but seriously, guys, you should see it before. There's like an inch of fat gone, and there's something there, I promise. Right. So today's the day for missions and stories and why they're so important. So I gave you a flavour of that in the message that I sent you earlier on for the challenge takers. If anybody's watching and is going, what message? It's probably because you're not in the challenge. And if you want to be in the challenge, all you need to do is sign up. In fact, let me just put it in here. I'm just going to put, if anyone's watching this now, I will pop in the link, and then that will mean that you can just, where am I gone? Where am I? There, don't press the finish button again. I always do that. Right, okay. There we go. There's the link to sign up in the comments. So if you haven't got any of the challenge tasks, then all you do is just click on that and they should all come through. So yeah, really excited about today, because today's one of my favorite days, because it's all about your mission and your story. And this is kind of where your niche begins. This is where what you're you know, what you're doing and the reason why you're doing it. It's where your niche is born from. This is where alignment is born from, because, you know, anybody could pick a niche like, well, that looks popular, so I'm going to go and pick that one because that seems to be doing well. People seem to be making money out of that. But that is a recipe for disaster, because when you start doing that kind of thing and just thinking, well, that looks really popular, it doesn't make any sense to you, what you've done, your past, what, you know, your qualifications, your experience and expertise and all of those kinds of things. It makes absolutely no sense to do that, and you will basically, it's out of integrity and you will crumble. It is just a recipe for disaster, because it's also, this forms the basis and the rocket fuel for you, for your longevity. Because if you're not in alignment with this mission, then it will mean that you will lose steam, and it will mean that you will lack passion, and it's just a recipe for disaster. It couldn't get any worse. So this is so important to get right, and this is where we start to tap into your niche from this place, and we pull in your passionate why and all of those kinds of things, because that's what people buy into. Again, I touched upon it yesterday, but people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And so this is why it's so important to tap into that passionate why and that mission. So I'm really looking forward to seeing your mission statements today. And as you know, I put in my mission statement a little bit earlier on, but my mission is to empower ambitious entrepreneurs with the means to create their own success, so they can make an epic impact, an epic income, and reach amazing heights to leave an entrepreneurial legacy. That is what I'm here to achieve. And the reason why why I've come to this mission, and this is the bit that's important, this is the bit that will resonate with other people, and I know a ton of you will, I keep getting this today, I've got like, who is it? Because I get, like, earlier on I was on a live in the Women's Business Club, because every Wednesday I do like a 9:30 slot, and I've had some really random, I've got like anger face, a sad face, and a flower, and whatever else. It's the weirdest thing. So I know it's somewhere over in the US because of wherever else, and it's either somebody's following me and giving me weird emojis, or somebody's got fat fingers and they do what I do, which I feel terrible about, where I'm like so loving what I'm like someone's saying that I end up pressing the angry face by mistake because my fingers are all over the shop. But anyway, that seems to be a bit strange. But whoever's giving me the weird emojis, hello, and it's fine. It's fine, not a problem. So anyway, this is why it's so important. It's uber important to do that, because people need to buy into this second half, this story side of things, because they will look at themselves and they will find resonance. And I'm sure many of you, when I tell this I'll make it short, I promise, this short story about why I do what I do, many of you will go, oh my goodness, I've been there too, because at the end of the day, we're all human beings, and you have already sort of been attracted to me because of what it is that you want to achieve, and you will recognize certain things in your own life. So the reason I do what I do is because I was basically brought up in a family where they told me, and bless their souls, it's not their fault, it's the way they were brought up, and it's a self-perpetuating thing, right? And, you know, I'm fortunate enough to be in a position now where I'm changing the perceptions that they have. And it's like, actually, yeah, that isn't true. But you grow up with these truths that aren't really truths, right? So we grew up with these beliefs. And I grew up with the belief that you can be successful if you're born into money, if you know the right people, if you had a better start in life, if you went to a good school, if all of these ifs, that I was basically told, and really, as much as they wanted to encourage me, I got to an age where I was so like, yeah, I can do anything, and then they started to panic, and they were a bit like, maybe just tone that down slightly, maybe just come down a few pegs, because as much as we love you, dear, that kind of life isn't for you. You kind of have to be a certain type of person for that, and that type of person is not you. And it sounds like they were hideous parents. They really weren't. They were lovely. They really were. And they want, as most parents do, they want the best for you. And they want the best for me, but they were trying to protect me from falling from a great height. They were trying to protect me from that failure that they are so afraid of. And that's what happens so many times, right? I mean, does anybody else have this situation or have had the situation with their parents where they're just trying to protect you, or they've got their other half? Because obviously Ellie's dad, I'm not with Ellie's dad anymore, but we're still very, very good friends. But he did a very similar thing. He would project the fears. He was such a worry ward, and he would project those fears onto me, and it would inevitably make me feel like, oh, okay. But I have to I've taken responsibility for that and realized that I have a choice, and I choose not to buy into that fear, and I choose not to buy into that belief that I can only achieve success if I know I can achieve success no matter what. And it literally is a choice. And the way I did this was by looking at other people's success and looking at those rags to riches stories. Those are the things that I did. I just collected a bunch of evidence about, well, you've got there and you're starting perhaps even further behind. You may be more disadvantaged than me, and you've still achieved way more than I ever have. And I looked at all of these different stories, and it gave me hope, and it gave me inspiration, and it made me realize that you can really create anything you want to. Just because you haven't been given that, that jump up in life, it doesn't mean that you can't achieve it. I grew up in a very, very, poor background, and I don't want to make it out to be like I was that bad, because there are worse things going on in the world, right? Like, I'm not living in a river washing myself with sewage. Like, I don't want to make out my story to be like I've come from that kind of background. But put it this way, like my stepmom used to go without food so we could eat, that kind of thing. Like, we were in a very poor, very scarce mindset. That's how I grew up. And so to come from that to earning 5-figure months is just incredible. And it took a ton of brain power, a ton of mindset work, and having that belief and making that commitment. And I wanted to show people that they don't have to buy into all of that crap and all that fear. You can achieve great heights, and and the other thing is that you are worthy, because I also grew up with the belief that I'm a pain in the bloody neck, and that actually, me being here is a nuisance. But it's just not true, because I didn't believe that for anybody else. I've been saying all of my life, there are people, you are here for a reason. Every single person on this planet is here for a reason, but I wouldn't apply that to me. And that's not fair. If you're able to apply things that apply to everyone else except you, you've got some work to do, because it's just, if it applies to everybody else, then it applies to you. And I am here for a reason. And again, that's taken mindset work and whatever else. And that's what I want to show people as well, that you've got something inside you. You have a legacy to leave. You have the ability to make an impact and change the world in your own way. And just because it feels like it's small at the moment, it doesn't have to be. And this is about impacting every single life on this planet, because it would be very difficult to do so. But it is about achieving and helping as many people who need your help as possible. And you can do that. And you're not doing anybody any favors by playing small. You've got to get out there, because there are people that need you, because you hold something within you. And this is the thing, and we can become a little bit selfish, particularly in my mission, in my line of work. We can all be a bit, I want to be the white hot credible expert, and that's cool and that's great, and I'm pleased I'm not taking that away from you, because that's what I want too. But let me just give a big example here. Helen Packham, I don't know if any of you have heard of Helen Packham. She's incredible, and we're on a very, very similar mission, but we work in different ways, and we are very different as people. But I love the fact that we're on a similar mission, because it means that we're able to come together and be stronger together and collaborate and help others and so on and so forth. It's not about being like, oh goodness, no competition. It's about saying there is no competition, and that's cool because it's all about collaboration. It's all about, yes, we can be on the same mission, but there will be differences. There is, you know, when it comes to looking at our USP, which is what this challenge is all about, it's looking at how we can differentiate ourselves, but it's all about the cocktail. The very first thing I mentioned in this challenge is all about the cocktail. You know, there will be things that are similar with other people, but this cocktail that comes together of all of those things, that is what makes the difference. That is what makes you stand out and resonate with people differently to how they might resonate with others, and so on and so forth. But that is why I do what I do, because I know that you can achieve success. I know that there is a basic strategy, and I know that you can find your difference from everybody else and stand out and stand together as great leaders. There is absolutely no reason why you have to stay small. There is no reason why you have to give up. You know, giving up is truly the only failure. And I would hate to see anybody do that. But that is why I exist. I'm here to empower entrepreneurs with the means to create their own success. And it's not a, and I'd like to call it a step-by-step process, but at the granular level, it's very different for each and different person. There's a basic strategy that you can follow, which is probably what my book is going to be all about. I'm getting my knickers in a twist over my book, guys, just as a little bit of vulnerability. Proper pickle. So I'm going to be speaking to someone who's been recommended to me, and I spoke to a little bit yesterday, and getting her help to get my bloody mind together. But hopefully that's what this book is going to be about. It's going to be showing you the basic steps and strategies and how you could technically apply it to your situation and do it in your way. But there is a process, and there is no reason why you can't make it there. You know, as long as you elicit get the right help, commit to learning, commit to development, commit to the goal. Because if you're not committed, it doesn't matter how much learning, how much coaching you have and all of that malarkey, you will never, ever get there. And I'm testament to that, because there have been times where I've set goals, I didn't believe I was going to get them, and I didn't get them. And there were times where I set myself a goal, I got stupidly excited, I saw it as a game, and I was ready to make that move, and I did it. Just like that month when I achieved 24K in a month. At that point, and I'll just give you a little insider's window into how I achieved that. Obviously, I achieved it by having the foundations, having the clarity, understanding why I'm so great, and all of those kinds of things. But it was also because at that point, I was on a high, and I was I was super confident, but I was a real high vibration, and I was super calm. I think the month before I'd made 10K, and I was like, yes, this is brilliant, this is good, I'm making 10K, go on, let's stick 24, I think it's 25. I think I was shy of about $700 of actually hitting my actual formal target. Not that I'm going to complain, because it's $700 out of however much, so I'm not going to complain of that. But the point is that I made that big goal, and I got really bloody excited about it, and I was like, yes, this is going to be fun and whatever else. And it became a game. Instead of, you know, if I was back in the mindset I was, like, say, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I was still working on my scarcity mindset, and there was no way I could believe that I could achieve that amount. But because of the rate of progression that I'd had, and how quickly I'd grown, and how quickly I'd built my success in a short period of time, yes, I've been working at it for ages, but when you really hit that button, when you really work out what that formula looks like, and the pieces that you need to have in place, i.e. your clarity, how to sell, and your money mindset, and you've got those puzzle pieces all your ducks in a row, progress can happen like that. And that's how exciting being an entrepreneur is, because there is no, well, I'll work for a year and gain a salary of this, and then by the time I would have saved this amount, and blah, blah, blah. Like, you could hit success next week, because that's really what it was. I was making nothing, and then 2 days later I was making a shit ton. Like, that's how it works being an entrepreneur. And that's what you have to remember, that, you know, even when it gets to the end of the month and you're like, oh, I've not made anything, stop moaning about it, shove a rocket up your bum, and just go out there and get, you know, sell your stuff. But obviously, if you haven't got the other things in place beforehand, understanding your niche and all that kind of thing, that's the work. And sometimes you've got to spend out money to work out those kinds of things first. I know I did, in order to then start making money, but you're not going to make money until you get those foundational pieces in place. And that's kind of your down payment on success. And that's kind of your commitment. Like, I'm willing to put this money into whatever it is, knowing that it's not going to be an instant return because I need this, this, and this. It's not a case of just one thing, bam, I'm done. There is no one size fits all. We all need various different things, and we need, and it's very unlikely that you just need one thing. We all invariably need a few different things in order to make a true monumental success. But it can happen very, very quickly. I'm just going to go through. Oh my goodness, there's loads of comments. Heather, my darling, hello, how are you? Marcy, hello, Marcy. I love that. Yeah, shove a rocket up your bum. It's maybe it's a UKism. I'm not sure. Marcy said, I was so excited about being a part of it. Marcy, yes, you were a part of that. And there were so many that were a part of that goal. And I'm so grateful to each and every one of you. But again, I was on this high vibe, and I sold with utter integrity as well. And that's what makes it feel so good, when you can earn that amount of money, still selling with integrity and still feeling so flipping good about it. And then being, the more money you earn, the more people you can help. So anyway, I went off on a little bit of a tangent there, but it felt good to do so. So I thought I would. But I hope many of you can resonate with this whole thing of people not believing that it's possible for them, and you stepping out and saying, I refuse to listen to that. That may be true for you, and it will be true for you if that's what you want to believe. But for me, it's different. And the moment that you step outside of those belief systems, outside of the fear, all of that rubbish, and you start to actually asking yourself smart questions instead of telling yourself this isn't for me, it's about saying, how can I create success? Because other people are doing it. So there is no reason, there is nothing special about me that makes me not be able to create success. I just need to get my head down and look at how I'm going to do it. And when you look at it like that, because that's how I went into this particular business. My other businesses, I didn't have this mindset before. But I went to this business with the mindset of, I'm not giving up. I am going to keep going until I make a success. Failure is not an option. Going back to a job is not an option. I have made a full-on commitment, and I built my belief systems up to be a different version of what I was brought up with. Because I needed to hear this. I could be making a shit ton of money. I'm going to find a rock. Find a rock. Oh dear. But yeah, Mar says, oh my God, clarity is such a process. There's no one and done. It really isn't. Just when you think you've got it, you pull back another layer. Exactly. It's a continual process. You've got to ride the wave in between. This is the thing. People want to up level really quickly. And in order to enjoy entrepreneurship, there is something to be said for, let's ride the wave until it's time. Because otherwise, if we're constantly up leveling, we're always going to be in that state of pulling back in, unless you stick a stake in the ground, unless you decide, this is where I'm going to sit for a bit. This here is cool. I'd like to help this person with this thing. This is where I'm going to stick my stake. This is what I'm going to be selling. This is who I'm going to sell it to. And you make a concerted effort to ride that wave. The process isn't enjoyable because you are constantly telling the universe that you're doing something different. And then as my one of my first ever coaches, Sanai Floyd, says, which I think is a great analogy, it's almost like a vacuum where the universe, like, because you're like, what am I doing? The universe will pull back everything. And like the vacuum of so my woo-woo side coming out, by the way, will pull back your clients, because it's like, well, what do you want? And I'm a massive believer in the law of attraction, but I'm also a massive believer in, I've just, don't let the opportunities pass you by. It's not going to fall into your lap. You've got to take action, and you need to read the signs, and you need to notice what's going on, because a lot of people sit there saying it's not happening, but there are a ton of opportunities that are passing them by, which they're not taking, or they're not taking active, proactive action to go out there and make the most of what's in front of them. There is not a lack of resources. There is only a lack of resourcefulness. And that's, again, underpins a lot of what I'm talking about here. You can create your success. Quit making the excuses, quit telling yourself all the fear stories and the scare stories and I can't and this isn't for me and all this stuff. Commit to the process and go out there and do whatever it takes. And yes, it will be scary. Yes, it will be uncomfortable. Yes, it will make you, fidget and probably want to crawl in a corner and die like I do on occasions, but it's the only way. And if you really, really want it, go out and get it. Doesn't matter. What's the worst that can happen? And one of my biggest ever fears was looking stupid. And do you know what? The more you look stupid, the easier it gets. And it's so hard. But I'm serious. That was what held me back for so many years. That fear of looking stupid, that fear of being rejected, fear of being laughed at, the fear of people, or and this imposter syndrome, like fear of being found out. The more you're found out, which isn't really a thing, like being found out, like for what? Like as long as you're you, as long as you're working from a place of integrity and you're doing good work and you're helping people and staying in your lane in terms of expertise, there is nothing to be found out for. But this is how we feel, right? We feel like we're going to be, found out for, you're Jen, you live in a house with a family and a daughter and you eat dinner like everybody else. Well, I'm a human being and that's what I do. But sometimes in this internet world, we can get put so far up in terms of like almost a bit celebritydom, if that makes any sense. And then you worry that's how people will perceive you. And then if you'll get knocked off your pedestal and then everyone will see you for who you are. And it's just not true. But the more that happens, the more real you get. The more mistakes you make, the more you mess up. Like every time, I swear, I help people create amazing pitches and authority statements, and trying to do my own or trying to say my own. Like every time I go to say it, when I'm in the context of giving an example, I'll always mess it up. I'm like, come on, woman, you're teaching this stuff. But, I'm human and I've got... I know I'm helping other people with it. And I know on a normal situation when I'm not under pressure and trying to give the perfect example, it's generally fine. But the more you mess up and the more these things happen, the more you're like, and it's just a release of, I'm just going to be me. I'm here to serve. Let's stop making it about me and what I'm doing. And let's make it about how I can help other people, because that's what it's about. At the end of the day, it's about making money from what you're giving. What you give, you get back. So, make sure that that's when you're worried, scared of looking stupid, scared of rejection, whatever else, just switch that switch to, I'm doing this for this person. I'm doing it for the people out there who need help with this. This is why this action is important. It doesn't matter if I look stupid. It's one very small thing, and inevitably you don't, and it's never as bad as you think, and you'll be absolutely fine. Nobody will die. So I hope that's helped. Let's give you a little bit of a pep talk this afternoon. Heather, perfect. You have to meet the universe halfway. Absolutely, 100%. You've got to. Like, I am a massive believer in it, but you've got to meet them you've got to meet it halfway. Them, I don't know who they are. The universe. Marcy says, I'm ready to make a shit ton of money. Let's do this. Do it. You've got to create that belief. And in fact, I'm going to repurpose a video that I did for the Women's Business Club last week in Paddington Station when I was in London. And I want you to watch that. Genuinely, guys, watch it, because it really goes into how taking things in stages is so important. Because I could never have said I'm going to make a 25k month and really truly believe that until I'd made 10. Do you see where I'm going? So you've got to take it in stages. Hello, Glenn. I've not seen you in a while. I hope you're well. So anyway, yeah, that's me done for today. I wanted to tell you a bit about my mission. Oh no, I'm not done. I haven't rounded up. Bear with me. I'll just quickly round up, because I was talking about, I've talked about my mission, my story, why it connects. And can you see now how me telling this, and I have been a bit lengthy about it. It didn't need to be, but it, you know, it was. And this is the kind of story and the kind of mission that people resonate with and they get on board. And as you can see from the comments, everyone's a bit like, yeah, come on, let's do this. You want to create that emotion in people. You want to resonate, and you want to give people hope and come to the same epiphanies that you did. By telling that story, you guys are connecting the dots in your own lives. You're connecting the dots with, you know, the people that you know, and the ideas and the belief systems that were created for you personally. So it's super, super important to make sure that you do tell those stories that bring you to the realization of why you do what you do. That will really help to build your following, and you cannot get any more personal than your own personal story. And you know, it makes you stand out like a Beletian beacon. Seriously, people start to know you for who you are, instead of, because this is the mistake I made. I love talking about mistakes. One of the biggest mistakes I made was being how to do this, how to niche, how to do that, how to do that, blah, blah, blah. Step 5 steps doing this and all that kind of stuff. And that's great, and it shows off your expertise, but it doesn't help people to warm to you and to get on board with the reasoning. People need to know why they're doing it before they want to do it. So you need to give them that motivation, and that happens when you very clearly explain your mission and your story that tells that story as to why you do what you do. So there we go. Now I've rounded up to help you understand how that all comes together and why it's super, super important to do it, because it's helping other people connect the dots and create their own epiphanies to come to the situation you have and want to buy from you. The next stage is the what. So it's looking at what you've got that helps them achieve that mission. And that's what builds the logic behind wanting to buy from you. You've got the why, which builds the want. Then you've got the what, which makes sense to them, that lets them justify why it's important. So those two elements are very important, and I'll come back to that and talk about that side of things in more depth on the particular day. So look out for day 4. Yeah, because it's day 3 today. Look out for day 4 tomorrow, where I announce the next task, the penultimate task for this week. And don't forget, put your task responses on the pinned post on my page. All you have to do is just find the pinned post and add them to the comments. If you have any problems, all you need to do is just message me and I'll tag you in the comments, and you can just, so you'll know where to go and get them. And there we go. That's me done. Exciting times, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. Nikki says, got to keep that one person in mind. Absolutely. Helping one person is worth the fear of looking stupid. 100%. Honestly, thank you so much for joining me today, everybody. You have been fab. Go and get posting. If you haven't joined the challenge, go and get joining, and I will speak to you all tomorrow. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.